Today's incredible guest is going to give us tips on unlocking creativity, not just in your child, but also in you. She has so many amazing ideas. I can't wait for you to hear the show. Cheri Sterman is the Director of Education at Crayola, and she is our guest today to tell us all kinds of amazing ways to unlock creativity in your child. She is a nationally recognized leader in child development and education and a passionate advocate for creativity and the influence it has on a child's potential. She most recently helped to launch an initiative at Crayola called Campaign for Creativity, which challenges conventional perceptions about creativity, sparking a new dialogue about the value of creativity and helping parents incorporate more creative moments into their children's lives. And she's going to help us do that today. She has so many amazing ideas. She is also a part of Crayola's Creativity Week, which is coming up starting on January 27th, 2025. If you're listening to this before or during this time, make sure you check that out. It's for an entire week. There's some amazing guests that are going to be a part of this Creativity Week. We'll leave the link in the show notes. It will be up for a little while after the show or after the week as well. So make sure you check that out. And again, enjoy the show. I know you're going to get so much out of it. Hi, this is Mary Jo Tinlin from the Teaching Your Toddler Show. Today, we have a very special guest. Cheri Sterman is with us. She's the director of Crayola Education, and we're going to talk about creativity and what that looks like and a special event that's coming up soon. So, Cheri, welcome to the show. Give us a little bit about your background and about how you got involved with Crayola.
Sure. So I have been with Crayola for over 30 years. Joined the company as the director of child development, really working both internally to help my colleagues understand children's ages and stages, what they're interested in, what they need, and that helps to design our products and programs really age appropriate for kids. And as we've developed our education programs, and I'm excited that we'll be talking about our Education Crayola Creativity Week during the show, my new title is the Director of Education, and I have the pleasure of working with educators and families all over the country.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. What a great role. So I understand there's a couple things that we're going to talk about here. So first of all, just to level set with everyone, can you define for us what is creativity?
I am so glad you asked that because creativity is a part of every child's, all of childhood, really everyone's life, regardless of age. And we did research with parents and learned that there's still some lingering myths about creativity. So many people believe that creative skills are only relevant to the arts, and that's not true. In fact, creativity impacts how we communicate, how we interact with others, how we shape mindsets of looking at the world with many possibilities instead of dead ends. Creativity is one of the skills that employers are looking for when they hire, and creativity is used in every profession. We did another research study with kids. And what's really cool is that kids understand that creativity is more than the arts. So when you think about creativity, really open the lens. It's not limited to creating things, which could include creating a new story or recipe or dramatic role play or puppet show, but also problem solving, building things, construction, design, robotics, and even sports. So kids recognized that the way you play a game and how you set your goals and face a challenge takes creative thinking. Based on all the research we did, Crayola defines creativity as imagination and action. And what's exciting about this beautiful definition is it opens up the lens and helps people realize that anything you imagine, you can put into action, you can create, including new ideas to solve problems.
That I think it's interesting the way you just described that is because I think a lot of people just think, oh, well, you're either creative or you're not. It's one or the other. And the way you just described it with so many different ways to be involved with like sports and robotics and all the things, it's not just drawing a picture, right? There's so many things. So what are the myths about creativity that like parents maybe have in their brains about their kids or themselves even?
Yeah, so to challenge the myths around creativity, we first need to learn about them and address them head on. And there are many lingering myths and misunderstandings about creativity. One of the main ones is that many adults think that creativity is something that a lucky few people are born with and that you either have it or you don't. That is not true. First, I want to point out everyone is creative in their own way. How many people have you talked to that say, oh, I can't draw a straight line, as if the straight line had anything to do with creativity? Or they say, I'm not creative, so how can I help my kids creative? And we need to bust through that myth. So I ask people, are you a creative gardener? You know, the way you design the palette in your garden, that takes great creative thinking skills. Are you a creative party host? Does your family always want to have the holiday festivities at your house because you're so creative in how you approach it and decorate it and take, design your menu? And even for your family, are you a creative cook that's always shaking up a recipe and trying to put new ingredients in? Do you have a special fashion flair? Or your own way of identifying with color and decor around your house. So everyone is creative, and I think when we recognize that as adults, that confidence in our creativity radiates as parents to our kids. The other thing to keep in mind, when we think about this myth that you're either born with it or not, is that creativity is a skill that can be taught, must be taught, and must be nurtured. So when you think of that, then we look for practical tips for parents and teachers to help boost their children's creative mindsets. I would say first and foremost, listen to your kids' ideas and honor their own creative suggestions. Ask them to solve problems. We don't always need to jump in as the adult and solve their problems. Ask them for solutions, right? So, if there's a conflict between siblings or they can't get something to work right, don't jump in and bring your adult expertise. Bring it back to them. What are your ideas? How could this problem be solved? And the other thing I suggest is demonstrating your own curiosity and sense of wonder. Kids pick up on it and they will mimic our creative behaviors. So I often like to come up with 5 just simple, practical tips, 5 behaviors that support creativity. Because I think sometimes having a numbered list, really helps people focus on them.
Absolutely.
1, come up with unique ideas and new ways of doing things, right? And talk about it. So mention your kids, oh, the highway seems backed up. What is a creative way? What's a new, different way that we can get home, right? And you just articulate it to them. So it's not just about following the GPS blindly, but really talking about new ways of doing things. Number 2, keeping an open mind, especially to your kids' ideas. They have to know that you're going to listen and you're going to honor their ideas. The third, be considering new possibilities. So just because we've done things in the traditional way or our favorite way all the time doesn't mean that we won't consider our children's suggestions for new possibilities. For this could be, for dinner, for packing the lunchbox, for combining different clothes that, into new outfits. Here are their ideas and consider new possibilities. The fourth that I mentioned before, being curious and letting your kids know what you're curious about. Ask questions. I wonder, what if? Stop a story in the middle. I wonder how it's going to end. How do you think these characters are going to react? These can be simple, everyday activities that don't take any more time, but you just showed your curiosity. And the fifth, seeking new experiences, and really asking kids, what do we want to try? What are we going to do? Help them plan that vacation or that weekend outing, or the day off that they have off from school, and how they can weave in their suggestions for new experiences.
Oh, I love those. And I love as you're saying them, I'm thinking 'cause my kids aren't little anymore. And I'm thinking all of those, they apply like all the way into adulthood, right? Like even if my kids are old enough to adult, some of these ideas are perfect for them too. So I love that they're sort of applicable across like all time frames for anyone, really. That's amazing. I understand. So you gave us some amazing tips, and I know we've got Creativity Week coming up, and so you this is as we record this is about mid-January, and it starts about 10 days from now, in January 27th through February 2nd of 2025 as we record. So tell us a little bit about what's going to happen during Creativity Week.
Absolutely, really excited to do this. So, first and foremost, I want to let all your listeners know that you can participate in Crayola Creativity Week. Your kids can hear firsthand from the voices of authors, artists, actors, athletes, and astronauts how creativity has led to their success. So, it is easy to register for this free program. As you said, it is going to be starting soon. So the first day is January 27th, and it goes through February 2nd. It's super easy to register. Just go to Crayola.com/creativity week. And it's a week-long event that provides everyone, parents, librarians, educators, with resources to engage kids in creative experiences. This year's theme is imagination and action. As you asked before, what is our definition? And that clearly is we want to lean into it and give people examples of how they can use that theme in their everyday life. So the program provides free videos. There's videos every day in which the author does a read aloud of their book. And then there's a video that's the hands-on daily art challenges where the illustrator of that book gives kids two different art experiences that they could do. We offer daily prizes. You get an entry. You're entered to win when you register, but also you get extra entries to win when you post the children's artwork on social media using hashtag Crayola Creativity Week. And those prizes are so much fun. Free books, free art supplies, telescopes, guitars, play materials, all donated by our partners. And really exciting opportunities. In fact, one of our partners is offering a $5,000 scholarship. It's a 529 savings program in which you can use for college, you can use, for education even before college. And so that's really exciting. That is open for families. So you can register for that when you sign up for Creativity Week. You can nominate your child's teacher to participate in the Creativity Launches the Future sweepstakes, which teachers are invited. They're going to go on an all expense paid trip to learn about space exploration at the Kennedy Space Center, something that we really want them to stay up to speed on. So, lots of opportunities to participate in the sweepstakes as well as the daily prizes.
Wow, those are amazing. That sounds so exciting. I mean, I just like everything you just described sounds so fun. And we'll make sure too that we have the links in the show notes for anyone who wants to register. And then also make sure that we've got that hashtag in there too, so that people can post and get that extra boost for potentially winning some additional prizes. That sounds so exciting. I know in the notes I'm looking at here, you have Matthew McConaughey, Henry Winkler, Mo Willem. He's the author of the penguin or the pigeon books, right? I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, love those books.
Yeah. Would you like me to share a bit more information about the program and the talent and the themes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So Henry Winkler, who is the beloved actor many of you will remember from his various shows and movies, he was in Barry recently. He was way back in Happy Days and in early years. He is going to talk to children about change and collaboration and feature his book, Duck Detective, which is one of it's not a picture book, it's a chapter book for kids who are merging into that level of reading chapter books. But the activities are great for all ages because it's about exploring, forming a clue finding team and working with your family and friends to solve a problem. And then, as you mentioned, Mo Willems is the beloved author of Pigeon and Piggy and Elephant books. And what Mo is excited about is that he's going to share his book, Opposites Abstract. And his video is about abstract thinking. So, one of the books he's written that people don't know as much about is Pigeon. And he's passionate about helping kids think about abstract thought. And one of the art activities that he does is he explores how he has different interests and how he can be two things at the same time. He can be excited and he can be calm, or he can be reaching out and interacting with the world, and he can also reflect about his feelings. So it's a really exciting program. And as you said, can age up because the idea of abstract thought is not even limited to childhood, right? He does a great job of introducing young kids to it, but as a parent, you can engage in that experience with your kids. We also have the Broadway star, Philippa Sue, who stars in Hamilton, and she talks about confidence. Her book is Piper Chen Sings is about how when we try something new and exciting, we can feel butterflies in our tummy, or they can make our knees feel weak or tickle our throat. And she talks about not being afraid of those new experiences, but embrace the butterflies and what they're telling us, that this is an important moment and we can step up, whether it's stepping on stage or trying a new experience. She leans into the wisdom of her family and quotes her grandmother as talking about the times that she felt those butterflies when she got married, when she had a new baby, and just anything that's new and exciting can make us feel nervous, but we can embrace that new challenge.
That's great.
And then I'd like to lean into Max Greenfield because his video, his day is Sunday, and that's really when family time. Everybody can be together. You can download and print his resources. So his theme is Conquer Fears. And his new book, he's written quite a few, but his new book is Goodnight Thoughts. And the story really helps us think about how we can gain mastery over those scary thoughts that might keep kids awake at night. So the two activities for that day that you can download and print and enjoy with the family after watching his video where he reads the book aloud and talks about his own passion around creativity. One is Dare to Dream, where you really can change. You think about a positive dream, you think about a scary dream, and then you think about how you can gain mastery over those scary dreams. And the other is Relax and Breathe. And what I'm so excited about is it helps children think about new ways that they can self-soothe and use breathing exercises and sketching and art to calm themselves.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And again, like moms need to learn how to calm and quiet their minds, right? And so that works. And when you were talking about the Philippe's book, like that we have to address the butterflies in like adult life too. So I think they're all going to be helpful for both parents and children. So I just love all of these amazing ideas.
If I could just remember. So as we said, please sign up before the January 27th start. And it does run through the weekend. February 1st and 2nd are special family days. The activities, as you say, really are designed to engage the entire family. Saturdays is around financial literacy, We feature a 19-year-old entrepreneur who started her lemonade business when she was 5 years old, and hear how her family supported her. She actually was on Shark Tank when she was 9 and received the investment from Shark Tank. And here she is at 19 and she's built an $11 million business. I don't know if you've ever tasted me and the Bees lemonade, but it is delicious. And she's going to tell kids her story. Actually, her book is Believe in Yourself and Dream Like a Kid. So 10 million children are going to be participating, and we welcome all of your listeners to join.
10 million. That's amazing. And I see here that you expect over 400,000 educators as well. So like this is a big, big event. And I hope that the listeners will definitely take part in this in some way, shape, or form. And if you're listening to this after the event, I'm hoping that you'll still check out the resources that are available.
Glad you mentioned that. We do keep the resources up for a month because we know, life gets in the way. You can have a snow day and the family's at home on the day, so you embrace that, but then the kids go off to school, so you can save that one for another day. So we keep them up for a month, which is a great opportunity to come back and enjoy them. And then you'll see on Crayola Learning YouTube channel, we have read along, draw alongs, art of learning, create to learn videos, so many resources that families can enjoy together.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for noting that. We'll make sure we say that too. That's great. Well, Cheri, this has been such a pleasure. Just again, before I let you go, just are there other things? And you talked about so many things. I think we probably already talked a lot about a lot of this, but for the future, in developing this creativity, I mean, like you said, being an employee, you have to be open to new ideas when you're in your job someday. Like, what are some of the other future things about creativity that help people in general, but also specifically kids?
Really glad you asked that. Because, well, it's always been important in every generation to encourage children's creativity. But now, in the current era, where we all can hold a device in our hand that provides us with more information, with the touch of the screen than we could remember, it's really important to encourage children's original thought and innovative solutions. So, child development experts tell us that creativity is essential in preparing future ready citizens, kids who have confidence in their ideas and they're willing and open to embrace the future. So, some of the advice is, instead of drilling your kids on memorizing facts that others have already figured out, ask them to embrace and give them age appropriate challenges so they can solve problems in new and innovative ways. And be open to their ideas. So instead of jumping in and saying, well, I know that won't work, or I already tried that, let your kids experiment. So as long as what they want to try is safe, why not let them try out the original ideas? And they might come up with something that you've never thought of, which is great. Talk with your kids about creativity and how it's so important in every career. Point out examples of interesting careers and where creativity is part of the job. For example, Crayola has a 5-year space agreement with NASA as part of Creativity Week. In fact, when we talked about Creativity Week, we didn't talk about the Friday program, which it's entitled Flows Like Water, and we feature scientists who are in charge of the Europa Clipper mission, because in October, that spaceship launched, but it's going to take 5.5 years for it to get to Europa, Jupiter's moon. And each year we work with NASA to talk about a new aspect of space, what they're working on in terms of space exploration and how creativity is so incredibly important for that. So, talk with your listeners about these opportunities in the workforce and how employers are looking forward to creative employees and how it's absolutely essential. I also would like to offer just a few practical tips of what parents can do, because when you say preparing your kids to be future ready, we're not talking about being a tech expert and, having a crystal ball to know what's going to happen in the next decade. Really, what we're talking about is doing simple, creative moments at home that are easy to do, don't take a lot of time or money, and that, believe it or not, they can have a lifelong impact on boosting your kids' creative confidence. Best of all, they're fun to do together as a family. And you'll realize that these creative moments are special bonding moments with your kids. So let's just give a few examples. So, people listen to the podcast so we can end on this really practical note of you don't have to carve out a lot of extra time from a busy schedule. You don't need to spend a lot of money on extra stuff. You can go on a nature walk and notice the colors and shapes. You can spend that travel time, especially when you're stuck in traffic. Make up a new story. Add new lyrics to a popular favorite song. At home, when you're super busy, working on one of your projects or doing something, give your kids blankets and boxes and ask them to build a fort or an obstacle course that, of course, then you'll come and experience with them, when you're finished with your project. But you'll be amazed at what kind of designers and architects they can be. And, lean into your kids' ideas. Give them some fabric scraps, pillowcase, and ask them how to turn that into a costume and then build a play around that. Or ask them how they could put a large piece of cardboard to use. Could it be a bridge over a puddle? What could you do with this piece of cardboard? So the point is to put their imaginations into action during everyday routines and enjoy those simple creative moments together.
That's awesome. I love that cardboard idea. We always joke that the box is more important than the toy, right? And that's,
Yes.
I love those ideas. Those are fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us all of that. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you today. You've given us an unbelievable amount of ideas, and I just am so happy. I think the listeners are going to love this. Cheri, thanks for joining us on the Teaching Your Toddler show. This has been the Teaching Your Toddler podcast with Mary Jo Tinlin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you'll find us on our website at teachingyourtoddler.com, as well as on Facebook at Teaching Your Toddler, on Instagram, and on Twitter at Teaching Toddler. So join us again, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.